Hello and welcome to Fit Life Radio, the place where you can learn a little bit more about how your body works and find new ways to improve your health. I'm your host Petju, and I hope to provide you with as much valuable information and inspire you to become a better version of yourself. Bonjour people. How is it going? I hope you're great. I hope you're feeling fantastic today. It's me back with another episode, back with another Q&A episode actually. As you may notice, every other episode is a Q&A where I answer 5 questions from Quora. For those of you who don't know, Quora is a question and answer based website where people are interested in a lot of different stuff and they're asking a lot of questions and they're expecting people who have been through this stuff or who are professional to give them an accurate answer. So I've been there for a while, and as you may already guessed, I've been answering fitness related questions just because kind of this is what I've been through, and I would say not exactly my expertise but my field of interest. So let's get started. 5 questions from Quora, and the very first one is, how do you build fitness? Right, that's a great question, and I choose to answer it just because it's highly related to my own philosophy, and why not actually talking a little bit more about it. So first of all, when we talk about fitness, like someone building fitness, what do we actually think of? Like, of course, it's not someone building a gym. Fitness is like, for me, fitness is more capability, like physical capability of the body, because it's very individual question, I think. Like, it's very different for person to person, because you can say that Usain Bolt, for example, he has a great fitness because he can run I don't know, like I think it was some sort of like 100 meters in around 10 seconds, something like that. And you can say that Ronnie Coleman, he has a great fitness, but he can lift tremendous amount of weights and he's got a lot of muscles. But those are very different aspects of fitness. Like, those two people are very different from each other, and neither of them can do what the other one can. So but they're still considered as fit people. They're still considered as people with a great fitness level. So what do we mean by that? And like, for me, by no means, like, you should pursue your own individual goals. So if your individual goal is to be able to lift a lot of weight, this is going to be your fitness level, or your fitness that you're going to build. If you want to run fast, or if you want to be able to jump high, this should be your pursuit, and you should be training for that, because this should be the way to build your own fitness. However, in my own opinion, fitness is a very general statement, and it's a combination of a lot of different aspects, but the most important one for me is being able to execute daily tasks without any problems, or without pain, or with just ease, right? So for instance, being able to walk 40 minutes somewhere, or being able to pick up your kid, or being able to pick up heavy stuff from the floor, or being able to move heavy objects. This, for me, it means that someone has a great fitness, because that someone has an ability to perform those tasks. And also, in addition to that, I think the next level is someone who is capable of not only doing those tasks with an ease, but not actually spending much energy to do those tasks, or someone having like a higher threshold of fatigue. So what I mean by that, so I will start from there. So, like, if you are able to lift like 100 kilos from the ground, right, as a form of deadlift, like being able to lift that 100 kilos without a problem, without having like any sort of pain, uh, it will be super easy to lift 25 kilos or 50 kilos from the floor, or lift or pick up your kid, right? Because you are able to execute much more. So obviously you're not gonna have to lift 100 kilos every single day, but if you're able to lift 100 kilos for reps, then like every single day, the task that you have to do every single day gonna be super easy, right? So there's so many examples of that. But I think another aspect of it is just like being able to also enjoy physical activity, like not only to go through your daily task with with ease, but also to be able to enjoy moments which are related to physical activity. And I will give you a perfect example. So last weekend actually, with my girlfriend, we went to a place and we tried speleology. Basically, speleology is more like uh, I like to refer it like a cave science, which is not exactly this, but it's not like your typical going and visiting a cave where there's like a lights and everything and you just go and there's someone who explains how it was formed or whatever. It was a legit experience where we had to crawl into cracks, we had to secure ourselves with like ropes, we had to rappel down into like 30-40 minutes of like nothing basically in order to explore that cave, and we learned way more from that experience than the normal like just cave visiting, if I can say so. So my point here was that if me and my girlfriend, we were not fit enough, or we did not have the strength capacity to endure this, we wouldn't have been able to have that experience and learn and have fun during that uh, strenuous activity. Um, or even if we would have like there were some people which they were struggling, like they had difficulties actually move that fast, or like be that flexible, or just like being able to pull themselves or like hold themselves correctly. So my point here is that maybe they did not enjoy it as much as we'd enjoy it, because for us it wasn't like very very heavy exercise. And in fact, the very next day, we pick up the bikes and we went 35 kilometers for a trip, 35-kilometer trip to visit two other villages, which was marvelous. It was like the weather was great. Those villages were just so beautiful. It was exceptional, right? But we did not struggle. Like that was 35 kilometers, and 35 kilometers for a biker is nothing. But 35 kilometers on a bike for someone who does not bike every day, it could be a struggle, like, right? And I'm not saying that it wasn't a struggle for us and we had to even push the bikes at some point, but we were able to enjoy being that physically active. We were not struggling that much to a point where we are so exhausted and fatigued, where we can't enjoy the view or we can't talk or whatever. Like we were just cruising and riding and talking and enjoying the view and taking pictures, and we were just like we were able to enjoy this physical moment, even though we struggle a bit. Like we still greatly benefit from that. So my point here is that being capable of physical activity, or like being capable of more than you have to do during your day, is going to allow you not only to go through the day very easily without much effort and without pain, but is also going to allow you to enjoy various other activities or experiences. And another part of being physically fit, or being like having great fitness, I think, is also being able to nourish your body. So if you have the ability to give your body what it needs, or to read the signals from your body and give the body all the nutrients required for your body to function properly, you will benefit greatly your body with like with all that, and you will be actually you will have way more energy, you will have way more focus, and you will have way more just even endurance. Like you will have way less problems, and your body is going to be way more free to explore and to go through those different tasks easily. So back to the question which was asked 10 minutes ago: how do you build fitness? Right, like in general, I would say go out there and be active. Challenge yourself every single day with activities, even though you don't really have to do those activities. Like, for instance, the bouldering place where I go to climb, it's 40 minutes away walking. So I go 40 minutes there walking, and then I come back for another 40 minutes, plus 3 hours of like heavy climbing. Not heavy climbing, but it's not like I'm sitting and watching a TV, right? So my point is that try to challenge yourself. If you can take the stairs instead of the elevator, take the stairs. If you can walk instead of taking the car, walk. If you have the time, of course. Like, make sure that you go out of your comfort zone and push yourself a little bit more than you normally do in terms of walking. Like, I'm not saying if you can only walk 30 minutes without pain, then you should try to walk 3 hours today. Like, you shouldn't exhaust yourself to a point where you can't move. You should be able to just slightly go above your comfort zone, just so you train your body for potential like requirements, or just so you train a little bit, you train being out of that comfort zone. So when you're in slight discomfort throughout the day, it's something familiar to your body. And in terms of food, just like the more you actually pursue this, the more you're gonna be able to pick up those body signals and being able to give your body what it needs. And by food, like, again, it's such a broad statement. You cannot say that there is a certain type of food that everybody should eat. Like, it could mean like eating more vegetables, it could be eating more meat, it could be eating more like fats, or it could be just like going in a specific diet or eliminating certain foods. Like, it's such an individual variance, and everybody should try to be more aware, and should try to just find out more about his own body. And I think this is the great way to start, and it's actually the only and the easiest way to build fitness. So I hope that was enough for this question. So moving on to the next one: which foods can help you lose fat? Again, back to the fat loss topics. Which foods can help you lose fats? Well, honestly, I don't know. I don't think there is a specific food that by ingesting it, you are going to be able to lose fats. Like, the way you lose fat or weight in general is to be on a caloric deficit. Caloric deficit can be achieved if you eat less than you burn, or if you burn more than you eat. So maybe there's foods that can like, the thing is, if you manage to get yourself healthier, if you eat such foods that your body prefers, your body is going to be more you're going to have more energy. So you're going to have to you're going to be able to be more active during the day, and being more active is going to mean using more energy. So that can potentially lead to fat loss. There's some foods, for example, like if you choose to try, or if your body prefers to eat more like vegetables and more like plant-based, maybe it would be easier for your body to digest those foods. So therefore, maybe you might have, again, more energy to go through the day, and more clarity and less bloating and stuff like that. Like, if your body prefers to be more carnivore and eat a lot of protein and fats, protein is actually very satiating. So 200 grams of chicken breast versus 200 grams of chocolate cake, it's a huge difference, because after those 200 grams of chicken breast, you won't be hungry for a while, and it's gonna be actually not very easy to eat those 200 grams. But 200 grams of chocolate cake is something that every single person can do, and even like have two of those. So and on top of that, after 2 hours you're gonna be hungry again. So ultimately, if you choose some foods which are kind of like making you feel less hungry, um, you will end up eating less calories, so you will be eventually in a deficit, and then that can potentially help you lose fat. But I don't think that there is a special food or herb that can help your body to lose fats or gain muscles or whatever. Like nothing can. There is a law of thermodynamics that it's a law for a reason. It does work, and there's no other way to achieve it. So if you want to lose fats, I wouldn't say try to search for a specific food that is going to do that, but overall get yourself healthy first. Try to find out what your body needs in terms of food. Be a little bit more active, and be patient. Be very, very patient, and this is how it's going to work. But the greatest start is to just get yourself healthier. The greatest start is to find foods that are preferred from your body, and not preferred in a way of like my brain really enjoys to eat chocolate cake, but preferred like my brain or my body really doesn't like to eat carbs at night, and it prefers to eat only protein at night. Or my body likes to have vegetables with each meal. Or my body, even though my brain likes a lot of coffee, my body doesn't like a lot of caffeine, because I'm not able to sleep at my best. So find what your body needs and try to give it. This is the first step that everybody should do in the pursuit of fat loss or any sort of actually body composition change. So moving on to the next question. I run and walk 1-2 miles every day, and I eat in a calorie deficit, but can't seem to lose any belly fat. Why? Right, so I talk quite a lot about it, and it's probably one of my favorite topics to discuss with people and to educate people, because it's very misunderstood, and I really like to see like the interest in people actually, and I really like to see how people react when I actually explain them how it works. And also, like, it's one of my favorite thing to do, because this concept of using cardio as losing as a tool to lose fats or weight, it's been around for quite a while, and it's been recommended from a lot of people, but in fact it's really not the greatest. And being able to really explain to someone how it works, someone like that who is frustrated clearly because it doesn't work, it's such a great experience for me. So like, look, the thing is, cardio, just like every other activity, is going to burn certain amount of calories or certain amount of energy, right? And yes, if you want to lose weight, you need to be in a calorie deficit. And as we know, caloric deficit, it can be achieved either from eating less than you burn or burning more than you eat. So doing cardio, and most of the time actually people do cardio and eat less, that's going to for sure help you lose some weight in the beginning. But the problem is that just like every single activity, cardio has its adaptation. So the brain adapts to that activity. Like the adaptation when we try to build muscles is that we build muscles. The adaptation is when we try to do cardio is to reduce muscles. And why is that? And now a lot of people are going to be confused, but when we do cardio, we end up getting efficient with our calories. When we do cardio, when we run for long distances, our brain has no other option but to um, learn how to use that amount of calorie and kind of like get rid of the muscles, slow down the metabolism, and make sure that with that amount of calories we can run this much, or we can get better at this. So with the same amount of calorie we can run even further. So if I compare this like the greatest analogy I like to use is with a car. So if you imagine two cars that are going to go from point A to point B, or let's say for 100 kilometers. One car is super powerful, very with a very powerful engine, like V8 for example, you know, Chevy Camaro. Just because like I really love this car. Anyway, another car is like Renault Twingo with 1 liter engine, right? So they both going to be able to go from point A to point B and to travel 100 kilometers. But even if they maintain the same speed, one is going to burn more calories than the other one. So, and one is going to be more efficient with that. So which one is going to be more efficient? The smaller one, the one with the less, like with the smaller engine, with less powerful engine, the one with less muscles. So just because the brain is very complicated computer and our body is very bizarre machine, when we do cardio, when we try to go from point A to point B, especially when we even restrict calories, our body is going to try to get efficient and to reduce the muscles or to reduce the engine size that we have. So now, for the same distance, we will use less calories. And the problem with that, there is nothing wrong with that, by the way. There are so many athletes out there that they're able to push their bodies to extreme limits and being able to do that. But the problem is when someone wants to desperately lose fats and drop their calories and increase their activity, sooner or later that their metabolism is going to adapt. And let's say you are someone who was eating 2000 calories and didn't move. Now all of a sudden you started to burn 500 calories more and to run like half an hour a day and eat 500 calories less. So now you're like ultimately getting 1000 calories because you're burning more and you're eating a little bit less, right? So what happens after a while is that yes, you're going to burn some muscles or some fats even, but your body is going to adapt. And now this 1000 calorie is going to be your maintenance. So now you're going to be eating less than before, you're going to be moving more than before, you're going to achieve some results, but if you stop moving, if you stop running and you continue eating the same way, actually now you're going to be on calorie surplus because you're not going to be burning that much calories. If you continue running, but if you start eating like before, you will be again on a surplus, so you will gain back that weight. The problem is that if we want to be able to eat more, like just because the thing is like when the body adapts this way to be efficient, we have to constantly run all the time and constantly be on a calorie deficit or like eat super low amount of calorie to maintain that new weight. And this is what we kind of refer to broken metabolism or a very slow metabolism, because it's possible, but it's not sustainable. It's possible. And then if you want more results, you will actually have to increase the amount of cardio you do or decrease the amount of food you eat, because you will be like, you're going to be adapted to this situation and now you will have to continue. So the problem with this is that it's not sustainable. Like when you it's possible to be on a very low calorie every day. It's possible to run like 1 hour or 2 hours every day. But is it sustainable? For how long can you actually do that? Like at some point you will want to stop and you will want to just like go somewhere and enjoy dinner with your friends, right? And you would want to consume a little bit more calories, or you would want to have like a glass of wine or something like that. You will have a celebration or a birthday party and you would want to have a piece of cake. Now, why would you have to restrict yourself from all that just because you have damaged your metabolism or slowed down your metabolism to a point where every single extra calorie is going to make you burn more, like put more fats. On top of that, like the person said that he can't seem to lose belly fat. Well, cardio is not technically going to burn, like there's no activity that specifically is going to burn like belly fat or any sort of fats in general. Like we burn calories and we consume calories, that's all. Like when there is a difference, we use the fats as a fuel when there's not enough calories from the food. But the thing is, the more muscles you have, the more calories you're going to burn just by even sleeping or just moving or walking or breathing or digesting or whatever. Because if you compare two people which are 80 kilos, but one has more, like one is like pure muscles and the other one has like 20 kilos of fats, but they're the same weight, the one that has pure muscles is going to burn more calories than the one that has more fats, just because like the one with more muscle has a bigger engine, which means that to maintain that engine, to maintain that body to be alive, is going to require more calories. So why would you want to restrict yourself and slow down your metabolism to a point where you can't really enjoy a lot of stuff, when you can actually do the very opposite? You can actually build more muscles. You can actually, instead of going 2 hours to the gym to run, you can actually stay 40 minutes there and do a resistance training and increase your muscle size and increase your engine size, and being able to burn calories just by sleeping, being able to burn more calories just by breathing or doing some other exercises. Like this way you will actually increase and speed up your metabolism. So like eventually you will end up being like with more room to consume more food and not having to restrict yourself and not having to worry about whether you should run more or you should eat less. So this is why that person can't really lose any belly fat, because cardio is not the greatest way. It's actually the worst way to lose fat. The best way to probably survive in today's modern world where we have so much food accessible and we don't move that much, it's to build more muscles, and to speed up our metabolism to a rate where we are able to burn that extra amount of food that we technically don't need, but we still consume because we live in a world where it's so hard not to consume stuff. So my advice is just this: instead of just stop running, stop probably being in a calorie deficit, just increase your calories, build muscles, trust the process, and see greater results. All right, moving to the fourth question. Can I reduce my caloric intake at a healthy rate? Absolutely. Reducing your calories doesn't mean that you should drop 2000 calories, right? Like, first, in order to know how many calories you should reduce, you should be able to know how many calories you need in order to stay the same weight, right? So you need to know, in other words, your maintenance level. And to know your maintenance level, yes, there are calculators, but the best way is to get a piece of paper and a pen or whatever, and you track your food intake for about 2 weeks. Without trying to improve anything, without trying to change or impress anyone, just spend the next 2 weeks the same as you would have spent like most of your time. But now the only difference should be to record what you eat and how much you eat, and then average those calories. And then at the end of those 2 weeks, let's say your average is 2000 calories. The healthy rate with which you should reduce your calories is no more than 200 calories. So reduce them. And also, the healthy rate would be not to constantly be in caloric deficit. The healthiest way to approach this is like, let's say if you are coming from 2000 calories, for a week or two, reduce 200 calories from your daily intake. Then for a third week, go back to 2000 calories. Then for another 2 weeks, go down with again 200 calories, and then switch between that. Now, this for sure is going to slow down a little bit your metabolism, but our goal here is to not shock it, is to not reduce with 1000 calories as a lot of people do. Like a lot of people and a lot of diets also, they recommend that and they promote that. So let's say the average person is eating around 2,500 calories per day. The average diet is like around 1,500 or 1,800. That's a huge amount of drop in calories. That's a huge gap. And yes, you might feel hungry. Yes, you might actually lose weight because your body is going to go in a starvation mode pretty much. But you're not really going to lose fats. You're not really going to benefit much from that. And you're going to damage your metabolism. Your metabolism, like we talked in the previous question, like your metabolism is going to slow down. And you're going to adapt. And now after 2 weeks of like or a month of like that drastic reduction of calories, you will end up like in a maintenance level, but at with 1,000 calories less. So now the only way to like drop down more, like to now the only way to reduce body weight or whatever is to drop down calories even more. And if you're already at 1,000 calories maintenance per day, where are you gonna go from that? Like 1,000 calories is not much. It's like one Big Mac. Can you eat a Big Mac per day? Only one Big Mac per day? Probably not. A lot of people eat 2 Big Macs per meal, you know. And I'm comparing it because every person knows what is a Big Mac, and not a lot of people knows pretty much how much is like 150 grams of chicken breast with 100 grams of rice and like around 200 grams of boiled vegetables. So I'm not saying Big Mac is better. I'm just saying that it's easy to compare. But still, it's not really enough for the average person to survive. And this is around 100 calories, 1,000 calories, excuse me. So when you reduce your calories, it's very possible to be done in a healthy rate, but that healthy rate means no more than 200 calories, and switching between like maintenance, deficit, and also if you're trying to build muscles at the same time, or at least work towards building muscles at the same time in the gym, you will probably speed up your process of losing just fats and increasing your metabolism like crazy, like really like probably one of the best ways is actually to do this. But even though if you just want to reduce your calories, no more than 200 calories until you actually hit a plateau. And then when you hit a plateau, maybe you can reduce 200 more, but not more than 200 in like 4 weeks, I would say. Now, the last question, will I lose weight if I don't eat at night? That's a really great question, and I'm probably gonna spend a lot of time talking about this. I also wrote a blog, actually 2 blogs about it. It was around time restricted eating, and the science behind it is that every single living organism has what's called circadian rhythm or circadian clock. For humans, usually the first thing, like when we wake up in the morning and our eyes, they see light, the brain stops the production of melatonin and actually starts to elevate blood pressure, starts to elevate body temperature, like speeds up the just like the production of enzymes, and starts the digestion process, just like kind of wakes up all the systems in our body, making it ready to consume, to ingest, to digest. Then throughout the day we have the freedom to do whatever we want, basically. But then at night, when it gets dark, when our brain sees the darkness, or there's less light, our brain starts to prepare the body for sleep. Our brain starts to kind of slow down a little bit and go to that rest and digest mode. It goes down. It goes like it slows down blood pressure, decrease body temperature. It stops those enzymes, and like it produces the hormones which are like supposed to just puts that body to a rest mode. And during night, when we sleep, we don't ingest, right? So the circadian clock is something far more complex than what I'm saying right now and explaining. But my point is that we are supposed to kind of, the best way to really utilize the food and digest it properly is within that range when like our body is supposed to be doing that. And if we eat outside of that window, actually we end up struggling, or our body end up struggling with this. It's just like it's like the body is not supposed to digest that amounts of food, but we're still giving it. Our body is not supposed to be working to at this rate, but we're still feeding it with this information. It's just like if you put like your phone to like a low battery mode or whatever, but then you keep like trying to play a very heavy game, like your phone is going to struggle, because like low battery mode is going to try to reduce the performance of your phone. But then you would ask your phone to perform the same way, so it's not really possible, right? So you will like just, even though there was actually a study, and I think I referred to it in the blog, time restricted eating, that even though mice, they ate the same amount of calories, one were in the time restricted eating and the other one had like access to the same amount of calories throughout the whole like night, the ones that were in time restricted eating, or the ones that ate the same amount but in that time frame, they actually end up building muscles and losing fat. So even though eating the same calories, you might be able to actually lose fats and build muscles just if you eat around that time when you are supposed to eat. And if you're really interested, go check my blog. I explain it to much more details. And also, if you're really interested and want to know a lot about that science, you can check Dr. Sachin Panda. I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly. And Dr. Rhonda, what was her name? Rhonda Patrick, I think. Yep, Dr. Rhonda Patrick. Go check them out. They're both talking about this. They're both doing an incredibly great research, and they're really going to give you like a great details about it. But in general, yes, you can really benefit from this actually. And the other thing is that when you actually stop eating at night, usually at night it's more a psychological thing, but at night we're usually like kind of associating with like maybe I'm gonna watch a TV, or maybe I'm gonna play a game with my friends or whatever. And then or at least like when I go out with my friends, even if we go like to my friend's house or whatever, and it's at night, and we watch a movie, or we just talk, or we just gather, or whatever, or even if we just go out for a walk, for some reason they associate this with like having some sort of snacks, like potato chips, or some sort of like gummy bears or whatever it is, but just some sort of snacks that they're going to eat throughout the night. And like I don't know why that's associated with this, but and of course it's very easy to not do it, but that promotes those bad habits, because even though you're not very hungry, you're still going to ingest more calories because you're kind of like associating the going out with your friends with like eating a bit of potato chips or whatever. And like those are stuff that are not very like we're oftentimes not very aware, but we end up actually eating more calories, in general. So if we are more aware and more mindful about that, for example, when we go to watch our favorite TV show at night, maybe we shouldn't really eat at the same time like popcorns or whatever, because we are not being in control of how much we eat, because it's an automatic process and we just like eat and eat and eat until it finishes. So just try to be more mindful. But in general, I think if you make it a practice to stop eating like 2, 3, 4 hours before bed, you will get like great benefits. First, because you will eat in that time frame or that time window when it's very beneficial for your body to digest it easily, and also you're actually going to end up not consuming that much calories because of being more mindful. So yeah, look, if you like the information I provide you guys, feel free to check my website. There's plenty of free resources. There's plenty of blog posts that you can read and benefit from. Also, you can check my book, The Blueprint of Health. It's a very interesting guide that it can serve you very well through your fitness and health journey. Also, there's an option where you can actually work with me. You can hire me as your own personal trainer or online coach, and I can try to do my best, and I'm going to try to do my best, and I guarantee that we will succeed. I will teach you everything I know about food and nutrition and everything I know about movement. So we're not going to go on a strict diet. We're not going to like go to the gym and push heavy, unless you don't want, of course. But I'm gonna spend our time teaching you how to be more mindful, how to just recognize what your body needs, your body signals, and we're just like, my goal is going to be to make you a better version of yourself, a healthier version of yourself. So and my goal is going to be also to teach you how to do it yourself, so eventually you won't need me anymore. My goal is not to have you forever as my client. My goal is to teach you, to give you the value of this knowledge, and to teach you how to do it on your own, because my ultimate goal is to make the world a better place. And by teaching you how to take better care of yourself, I believe that I'm gonna be on the right way. So if you're interested, definitely go check those out. Also, you can find me in Facebook, Fit Life Blueprints, and you can find me on Instagram as well, Fit Life Blueprints _PK. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and until next time, see ya. Thank you for tuning to Fit Life Radio. I hope you learned something useful, or at least had a bit of color to your commute. If you enjoyed the show, please share the love by introducing it to friends and family. And if you don't mind, please leave a review on your favorite podcasting app. Thank you for your support, and until next time, stay fit.